Urve Gaura Chandra Radhikaya Tadare Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Nandananam Bande Radhika Charanadvayam Gopijana Samayuktam Vrindavan Manoharam Bhajami Radham Aravindanetram Smarami Radham Marudasmitasyam Vadami Radham Kurunavadaram Tato Manoyasti Katena Kapi Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnu Padridandi Swami Sivaktidan Narayan Gosai Maharaj, our Shiksha Gurus, Vishnu Padridandi Swami Sivaktidan Madhusudan Gosai Maharaj, Nityalila Parishi Gaur Govinda Gosai Maharaj, all Vaishnavas, Christchurch Vasis, Vaishnavis, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. So, Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyagan Bhakti Te Jahara Poilo Govinda Charan. We're meant to sing every morning this kirtan. So, all glories to the wives of the Brahmanas. All glories to the wives of Kalya. By devotion to Krishna, they attained his lotus feet. Two types of siddhas, three types of siddhas actually. One is Nitya siddha, one is sadhan siddha, and one is kripa siddha. Those were always perfected. They never came to they never even know the material world exists. They're fully absorbed in Krishna. Isti sadhasikadaga parama veshtatata. They have full absorption in Krishna. They never forget him even for a moment. Then two others, Badamukta, were conditioned, Hasrani, but by sadhan bhakti achieved perfection. They're the sadhan siddhas. And kripa siddhas, who were conditioned but by perfection, by mercy, achieved perfection. Two types of mercy. One is direct mercy of Bhagavan, and the other one is mercy of the devotees of Bhagavan. Example, a holya, she was cursed to be a rock, a stone, but liberated directly by the touch of the feet of Ramchandra. The Saptatals, they're embraced by Lord Chaitanya, remember? Just say yes. They went directly to Vaikuntha. No sadhan, no nothing. Just mercy of Bhagavan. And some sadhan siddhas, some kripa siddhas, mercy of devotees. You can think like the two sons of Kuver, Manigriv, Nalakuver, by mercy of Narad, they were cursed to become trees, they achieved perfection. Anyway, but this is rare. We should not depend on that. Like in university they give honorary degree. Okay? But you should not depend on that. I won't do any study, I won't go to any lectures, but maybe I'll get the honorary degree. Maybe you will, but don't depend on it. So, nice example of the sadhan siddhas, that is the wives of the Dvijapatni, the wives of the Brahmanas. So, halfway between Mathura and Vrindavan, there is the village of Anayo. The village of Bhatrol. Easy to remember it. Roll means like bread roll. Bhat means rice. Bhatrol. Remember that place, Madhu? When was the last time you came to Vrindavan? I remember.
The last time I
came with
saw you.
4 years ago.
If you get a chance, now you're retired, right? Come for Parikram, come for Brajman. Guru Maharaj said Mathura and Vrindavan look very close, 10, 12 kilometers, but actually by Bab there's millions of miles distance. Because the Brijvasis, they're Vishuddha Bhaktas. There's no touch of Aishwarya in their devotion. Aishwarya Sthitala Prem Nahi Moraprit. Where there's awe and reverence, then natural feelings of affection disappear. So the Brijvasis, their bhakti is no tinge of Aishwarya. They are Visuddha Madhurya Moy Bhaktas. They know nothing else, they taste nothing else except the sweetness of Krishna. And the devotees in Mathura, they have experienced more sweetness than Dwarka, more sweetness than Ayodhya, more sweetness than Vaikuntha, but not more sweetness than Braj. So, this village of Bhatrol is in the halfway point. So the Braja Gopis, of course, they are Mahalakshmi Surupini. They're like Lakshmis. They are Lakshmis. Brahma Samhita, what does it say? Chintamani Prakara Sadmasa Kalpa Bhikshu Raksara Tasya Surabi Abhipalayantim Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambram Sevyamanam Govindamari Purusham Tamham Bhajami. Their Brahma said, all these Braja Gopis, who are they? They are Lakshmi Sarup. They are all, not all, but you could think like that, all manifestations of Radhika. Radhika is the full form of Bhakti, the full form of Prema. Therefore, Radharani is the source of all other loving services for Krishna. Of course, in one sense we can say all come from Balaram. All the Parshads, that is there. But some special category that is reserved, that is Madhurya Ras, some of those souls come from Radhika. Anyway, how you can match both? Because even the body of Radhika comes from Baladev. So you can say everyone comes from Baladev, but this special group come from Radhika. Therefore it says when Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 4, Kaviraj Goswami describes, Radhika Sarup Krishna Prema Kalpalata. He says Radharani Sarup Krishna Prema Kalpalata. She is like a vine, Chintamani Sarup. What you want, she gives. Therefore she fulfills all the desires of Krishna. And the other Sakis, the Palaputta, like a vine has many, many leaves. All these other leaves, the millions of the Braja Gopis, they are expansions of Radharani. So, what I'm trying to say, they have unlimited opulence, but they're doing human-like lila. Therefore, in Cowherd village, some things are lacking. They have unlimited yogurt, milk, paneer, other things. But maybe some things they cannot get in the village. Like, I don't know, maybe here in Christchurch, you can get most things, but everything cannot get. Some special things you have to go to Auckland or something. So the Braja Gopis, they sometimes go to Mathura for exchanging milk products, for special things that you can only get in the city, like masala, probably salt, these type of things. Some nice cloth. So as the Braja Gopis would pass on their way to Mathura, they would pass through this village because it's, even now today, it's on the main road, the main path. So sometimes those ladies from the village of Bhatrol, this was mainly Brahmin village. So the Gopis would pass, and what happens, Hasharani, when two ladies meet?
Embrace.
Generally some fight, but some discussion is there. Some discussion. Gurudev, it's a bit off the topic, but it's fun. One time Gurudev said, ladies, when they meet, always some talking. Some gossip must be there. Yes, Gurudev said, I'll give it a sound file. So one day Krishna was out with Arjuna, then Krishna said to Arjuna, brother, I'm very thirsty. You can bring me some water. Then Arjuna went to the Yamuna to get some drinking water. He came back in a state of shock. Krishna said, what you saw? He said, I saw two women who were not talking. But Krishna said, impossible, I don't believe. I've seen everything, but I've never seen that. So both Krishna and Arjuna went to talk, and it was one woman and her shadow. I love those jokes. So, the ladies, of course, these are not ordinary ladies. So when bhaktas meet, what they say, Machita matkata prana bodayantis parasparam katamritas chamam nityam tusyanti cha romanticha. Pujapad Srila Maharaj said, this verse is the most important verse in the Bhagavad Gita. This describes the Sarup Lakshan of the Vaishnavas. What's the main quality of a devotee? Always they speak about Krishna. Machita means their minds, their pran, their life, themselves fully given to me. Bodhayantis parasparam. And when they meet, what they speak? Tusyanti charam katamritas chamam nityam. They're always discussing topics of Krishna, that is katamrita, the nectar of Harikatha. So the Braja Gopis, they are the source of all Krishna Katha. Even Narad, Vyas, Brahma, Rudra, any other Mahajan, something they're getting must be some mercy of the Braja Gopis, otherwise how they could speak about Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. So this is the super excellence of especially Gaudiya Sampradaya. So much emphasis is given on Shravan and Kirtan. So they are speaking all Krishna's pastimes. So when these gopis would meet, they would ask the ladies of Bhatrol, have you heard of the son of Nanda? He's very sweet, as if the Creator has taken all the beauty of the universe and crushed it into one childlike form. He is not only so much attractive, he is full of prema, full of affection, full of lila. This way they're speaking so sweetly about Krishna. Then tat tat bhavadi madhuja shruta nadira pekshate na shastrams chana yuktams cha bhav lobo pati lakshana. Rupa Goswami says. Hearing of the sweetness of Krishna, then one develops a greed. How can I attain him? So these Dvija Patnis, they develop so much greed. How we can get Krishna, how we can meet. So this is also one type of Purvarag. Like you see in Venugit, the gopis describing all about Krishna but not met him directly. This is called Purvarag. So these ladies also experiencing something like that. So much desire to meet Krishna but not met yet. Purvarag. So Gurudev said, in this world you can get that. Purvarag. What is our first meeting with Krishna? Through ears. So Krishna reveals himself to that person who is very eager to hear Katha. So you see Gurudev's life, always, he gives so much emphasis on Harikatha. He would say someone chants 64 rounds, 2 lakh, 3 lakh Harinam, but not tasting, hearing what they have, Gurudev would say. 0. So don't neglect hearing. Even, we know everything, but hearing will give so much realization. Gurudev said 3 things must always be there in our sadhana, always. No? Harinam, Vaishnav Seva, and hearing Katha. No? If we're doing so much Harinam and so much Vaishnav Seva, but not hearing Katha, that will all become material, prakrit. No, because no, like transcendent, no higher thinking will come. No, because you are not hearing. And someone hear a lot, do Vaishnav Seva, but no Harinam, that means they're not hearing anything. Because all Shastra says to chant the Harinam. And you hear, and you're hearing and doing Harinam, but no Vaishnav Seva, realization will not come. So 3 things always we should try to do. Some Vaishnav Seva, some, of course, our own sadhan bhajan, and of course hearing. So anyway, so hearing, don't neglect. Don't neglect. So even if there's someone who's maybe not so great, but still should hear. One time, Guru Maharaj asked, you went to class this morning? No, why? This guy was speaking. And Guru Maharaj said, don't think I know everything. No, because everyone has something you never heard. Gurudev said that. Everyone, no matter who they are, something they heard from Gurudev that you did not hear or you forgot. So everyone has some jewels. No? So you can always get something from hearing. And high class sadhu, they don't care what they're, who's speaking, they don't look at that. They do, topics of Krishna are there. Like Trivika Maharaj says, if some materialistic person says to Uttam Bhagavad, Haribol, or some materialistic, even Mayavadi speak, Haribol, the Mahabhagavad will still feel so much ecstasy, hearing name of Krishna. So, these ladies of Mathura, hearing, they develop so much greed. How we can get Krishna, how we can attain him. You know? So they had this desire. And they were waiting in their village, how we can meet, what will happen. So, like when the Brahmana brought the message of Rukmini to Krishna, and Krishna said, as Rukmini is thinking of me day and night, I am also thinking of Rukmini day and night. Oh Brahman, my mind is so disturbed I cannot sleep at night. So someone also hearing about Krishna and thinking of Krishna, Krishna also take too much interest in that devotee. So, one day, where's Prahlad? He's gone. All coward boys, they know they go different forests. 12 main forests in Braj. I think 7 on the eastern side, 5 on the western side. 12 main forests. So every day they go new forests, new grass, new grazing. So that time was no SMS, no Facebook. So I was thinking, how could they have survived? So one day, some miscommunication was there. All boys and cows went to one forest, but all the lunches went to another forest. Sometimes these disasters happen, even in Bhagavan's Leela. So boys, very hungry. Ram Ram Mahabharo Krishna Dustra Nibahana. First they said to Balaram, Balaram, Krishna has killed many demons, but you have yet to do anything. So Ram Ram Mahabharo, oh Balaram, your arms are very strong, but what's the use in so much strength if we will never do anything? There is one great demon, he is attacking us. Then Balaram, I say, which demon? I cannot see him. Yes, he's called hunger. And he's attacking our stomachs. Means if we are very hungry, then Krishna must also be hungry. Actually, when Gurudev went to Sydney first time in the house of Raghunath, remember the story he told there? I remember. He told the Katha of all the boys going to Bandiravan, and one demon made a forest fire. And all the boys and cows were surrounded by fire. Then they cried, Krishna, Krishna, save us. So after Katha, I asked Gurudev, Gurudev, what type of, this seems to me not Prema Bhakti? Oh, Krishna, save us, save us. Then Guru Maharaj said, yes, you're right, they have no bhakti. Only you have bhakti. He not answered it. Second time also, but third time he said, because they think, if we die, who will serve Krishna? So Krishna, you save us for your service, for your enjoyment. So the coward boys are crying, we are hungry. It means because you and me are the same, if we're hungry, you must also be hungry. Krishna Dusta Nibadana. Krishna removed this hunger demon. So, we are being harassed by hunger, you should definitely do something about it. So, Krishna said to the boys, nearby is one village of Bhatro. There are many Brahmanas there. They are doing big yagya. What type of yagya is there? I can't read this because you have to press each verse. So they're doing the Angiras, one big yagya, to go to heavenly planets. That means these are like Karma Kandi Brahmanas. Karma Kandi and the Vaishnavas always clashes there. Like when Ajamil was dying, who came? The Yamadutas. The Yamadutas are the strict followers of karma. What you do, you get that, and not a drop more or less. The Karma Kandis. Smarta, they also call them. But we are not following that. We believe Veda, but we are not asking Krishna, give us what we deserve. What we're asking Krishna, you give me what I don't deserve. Means you just give me mercy. So this fight is always going on. The followers of karma and the followers who believe. No. Krishna is not controlled by karma. His mercy is independent. What he wants to, which person, whom, when, where and why he gives mercy, there is no restriction for him. So Krishna said, you go to these Brahmanas, they are performing big yagya, the Agniras. What's it called, sorry? The Angiras yagya, for attainment of heavenly planets. No? So you go there and you ask them, give some charity. No, in Bhagavad Gita it's also said, no, that religious activity where there's no distribution of foodstuffs, that is like tamagun. It says like that. So the boys, being very hungry, some messengers went out to the village. Again, and they came before the Brahmanas, and very respectfully they bowed, "O Bhu Devatas, gods of the earth planet, Krishna and Balaram are nearby, and they are very hungry. So please supply some foodstuffs for them, and also for us." So general rule is when one's doing puja, should not speak to anyone. Right? No. In Harikata, should not speak to anyone. Right? Like if you're doing some Thakurji seva and someone speaks to you, you should not answer. If you answer, this is one type of seva aparat. Right? So Pujari always close the curtain by doing so. But some high class person comes, some special person, then it said you should give up that action and go and serve him. Like Gurudev comes or some pure Vaishnav comes, then you should give up your archan and go and satisfy the Vaishnavas. And once they're satisfied, then you can go back and finish your seva to Krishna. So general rule, during yagya and everything, should not speak. But some special occasion, Bhagwan's associates come, tomorrow give us something. That time, this is called, Rupa Goswami said, what is it? Niyamaksara. No, 6 things destroy devotion. Too much fanatically following rules and regulations without understanding the intention behind it, and neglecting the rules and regulations. Both these things destroy bhajan. Like Guru did. When Guru comes, then he should do some puja, some arti, some foot bathing water. But Gurudev comes in the middle of winter to Christchurch. No, Gurudev, Shastra says, fanning ferociously. Cold water, foot bath, Shastra says. This is one mistake, no? Niyamagraha. Fanatically following rules and regulations without understanding why. And another one is neglect. So this is Niyamagraha. Okay, general rule is don't speak with Bhagavan. Bhagavan is nearby. And he's eternal associates requesting, give some food. No, I will not do. I will remain silent. This is one mistake, one neglect. And this destroys devotion. Again and again the boys ask, "Hello? We are very hungry. Krishna Balaram are nearby. They are quite hungry. So please supply them foodstuffs." Again and again they ask. But these Brahmanas, their ears full of the wax of material desires, full of pride, could not understand who are these coward boys. Who are they? Sukadev Goswami says, King Nanda King Kuro Brahmana. When Mahaprabhu is speaking with Ramananda Roy, no? Then that verse is the way. No? Who can understand Krita Punya Punja? Who can understand the glories of the coward boy, these friends of Krishna? They have so much sukriti, so much punya, they are now directly wrestling with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Itam satam brahma sukam nubhutya dasya gatanam paradevatena maya asritanam naradadakena sakyam krita krita punya puja. Sukadev Goswami says. Itam satam brahma sukam nubhutya. The impersonalists who are absorbed in pursuing brahma sukh, impersonal happiness, how they will understand. Itam satam brahma sukam nubhutya dasya gatanam. Those in dasiras, full of awe and reverence, how they will understand. You know? And maya asritanam, those captured by illusion who think Krishna to be an ordinary person, how will any of these 3 persons possibly understand the glories of the friends of Krishna? You know? So they not answered anything. The boys with empty tiffins and empty stomachs and broken hearts returned back to Krishna Balaram. When Krishna saw their downcast faces, he laughed. Because he said, these are the rules of begging. There's no rule you ask and someone have to give. It's not like that. So Krishna smiled. Well, boys, you go again, don't ask in my name, because I'm middle low class birth. But Balaram is like Kshatriya, royal family, so maybe they will give. But this time do not go to the wives, you go to the, do not go to the Brahmanas, you go to their wives. Unfortunately this phone is defective. Is there any way you can do it so I don't have to press next verse every single
Sure,
time?
there is.
Can you help us help the electronically challenged? So, you go again and ask the wives. Why? For a long time they've been hearing about me. My glories are the earrings, the ornaments of their ears. Because they're always hearing about me, their minds are so much attached to me. You'll go again and ask. So the boys went for round 2. This time the wives were cooking many preparations for the feast. So the boys went and asked, oh dear ladies, saintly ladies, Krishna and Balaram are nearby. They are very hungry. Please spare some foodstuffs. So when the ladies heard Krishna and Balaram have come nearby, they became stunned with ecstasy. In fact, they became so happy they also failed to answer. So the boys go, oh no, not again. At first, boys became depressed. Again, they are also neglecting us. You got it there?
Getting there. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. So, then the ladies condemn themselves. Krishna and Balaram are nearby and we are not feeding them. Our hearts must be very hard like thunderbolts. Done it yet? It's okay, don't worry. I'll just
I tried to download it, I'm just playing around with it.
Okay. Take your time. So, I'll just make it up as I go. So, these ladies become very happy and they had many type of foodstuffs. Especially 4 should be given to Bhagavan. Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasado Swadana Triptam Hari Bhakta Sangam Kitaiva Triptam Vajata Sadeva Bande Guru Sri Charanare. Krishna is very happy by 4 type of foodstuffs. That which is licked, like cornettos. What is licked?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, I don't know. Some Vedic thing must be there. Licked, chewed, drunk, and sucked. 4 type of foodstuffs. So, how's it going then? So they piled many different types of curries, panirs, different types of sabjis, samosas, kachoris, many types of nectar drinks. They poured in many different. You got it? Do you want to close this window? Miles getting broke.
It's only me.
So, I wanted to read the verses, not what.
Can only push on there.
Okay?
Just to Miles left on this side.
Okay. Oh, earthly God. Okay. Oh my God, this is going to take forever. Tomorrow, why don't you have a full 10th candle in your house?
I thought I did.
Oh, it's going to take forever.
Canto's done.
Have you got one? No, just the power one.
So,
As far as borrowing was.
they became very ecstatic. And there's different type of bowls there, Prem. You guys are out there? Sorry to disturb. I can just So they piled all the sabjis and all different type of drinks, all different sweets in crystal bowls, gold bowls, silver, many clay bowls, and they placed on their heads. This was actually legal in one sense. Because the sacrifice is not finished, but everyone's eating, how can you eat before offering? So the husbands became very angry. They chastised their wives. The Gurujan. Okay. Oh God, I can't do this anymore. This doesn't give the full 10th candle.
No.
Only watch PowerPoint translation. So don't worry. I should just finish this.
I can go home and bring it. Self-follow.
No, it's alright. I didn't know. So, like the river runs towards the ocean, these ladies not listening to the words of their husbands or their brothers or the Gurujan, their hearts fixed on Krishna, because by hearing they developed so much attachment, they ran to him. So when they came to Krishna that time, he was resting. His hand.
Try this one.
What could go wrong now? Nothing. Oh, there's no Sanskrit. Giving me. I asked for 23rd chapter. 23rd.
23rd?
Defeated by mediocrity. In the old days it was so easy, you just had a book.
Yeah, the book's easy.
So Krishna was resting his hand on the shoulders of maybe Balaram, because generally Krishna feeling so much ecstasy that he needs some support, especially when Krishna goes to the forest. Then millions of gopis glancing at him, like piercing him with their glance. Then Krishna needs some support. So generally Krishna resting his hand on the shoulder of Baladev or some other cowherd boy. So there's a very beautiful verse spoken here, as soon as I can find it, describing the sweetness of Krishna. Gurudev said 3 verses are especially wonderful in describing the beauty of Krishna. One is spoken by Brahma, one is spoken by these wives of the Dvijapatnis, but the best one is the one spoken by the Braja Gopis. Shamam hiranya paridam vanamali barha datu praval nataveshana anuvritam se vinasta hasamitadena danuma abjam kanu pulak kapalo mukabjahasam. Krishna was there by the bank of the river. Shamam hiranya paridam vanamali barha. He had a long garland of forest flowers down to his knees. Shamam hiranya paridam. He had complexion like rain cloud, and his peacock feather like a rainbow. His white teeth like a flock of swans flying against that, and his yellow pitambala like lightning. So much datu praval natu vesham. He was dressed natavada, natu vesham, like an actor on a stage. I remember in high school we did Shakespeare's, what is it? A Midsummer Night's Dream. So, I shouldn't have bit this online. I was Oberon, King of the Fairies. Don't get the wrong idea.
Typecasting,
So much I was so much decorated, thank God no one recognized me. So Krishna, the absolute truth, but like an actor on a stage, no one can understand who is he. So Krishna, no one can understand he is the absolute truth, because dressed like a cowherd boy. Gopa Vaishnava, this special form only in Braj. In Dwarka, even Mathura, when Krishna left Vrindavan, went to Mathura, what's the first thing he did? Stole the cloth of Kamsa and covered his form. So that's why the ladies of Mathura lamenting, Gopya kimachara yadamusarupam lavanya saram asamodamananisidam. When Krishna came to Mathura, the ladies of Mathura lamenting, what austerities those gopis perform, they always see the form of Krishna. Someone might say, but you are also seeing? But the ladies of Mathura say, no, we are not seeing the same like the gopis always see, because Krishna, first thing Krishna did, put on kurta, pajamas, shoes, means his form completely covered. But in Braj, that form open for everyone. So Shamam Hiranya Paridam. He decorated with what? In Vaikuntha he has so many ornaments, bangles, jewels, necklace. But in Braj everything made by flowers. Armbands, flowers, what are these called? Bracelets of flowers, armbands of flowers, garlands of flowers, crown of flowers, ankle bells of flowers. So Datu Praval Natavesha Anuvritamsi. He's decorated with what? Dhatu. Dhatu means minerals from the ground. Like Gurudev would say, sometimes Gurudev would, he used to rub one shila from Govardhan, some black color comes. Of Krishna already black, but anyhow, that also used for decoration. Some red, some yellow. Even the Shilas of Govardhan giving different colors. So Krishna decorated with these. Datu, Vinyasta Hasamaterena, Danum. He wears in his ears lilies, Kapola Magdab, and he's very sweetly smiling, resting one hand on the friend of a shoulder. Krishna had one play lotus in his hand and he's swinging that like a churning rod. Like Cupid churns the hearts of all living entities by this flower, Krishna churning the hearts of all these ladies. No? So, for a long time, these ladies had heard about Krishna, and his glories had become the constant ornament of their ears, therefore always hearing him. Indeed, their minds were always absorbed in him. So when they finally saw him, they took him through their eyes, closed his eyes so he could not escape, and took him in their hearts. In this way, they finally gave up the pain of separation from him, just as sages give up the anxiety of false ego by embracing the super soul in their hearts. No? Some advertisement has come up on your phone. They never give anything for free, do they? Can you help me? Next. Oh, I pressed it was my fault. I pressed the donation button. Yes. So, Krishna could understand because he is the witness of the thoughts of everyone. So he smiled. And what did he say? Swagatam va mahabhaga asya kim krimu kim karomi va. Same verses that Krishna spoke to the Gopis when the Gopis heard the sound of the flute. They left everything and ran and came to Krishna. And what's the first thing Krishna said? Swagatam va mahabhaga. It's the same verse. Welcome, welcome, fortunate ladies. Why have you come here? May you have come here to see the forest at night time? Now that you've seen, you should go home. Why? I am brahmachari. You are beautiful young ladies. It is not safe. Return back to your homes. Why? Because the scriptures say even if the husband is ugly, deformed, poverty-stricken, or all of the above, still wives should never leave him. Therefore, it is not proper for ladies of you born in high families to give up the service of your husbands. Therefore, return home, return home, return home. So Krishna spoke pretty much exactly the same thing to the wives of the Brahmanas. Well, welcome, fortunate ladies. Please sit down and make yourselves comfortable. What can I do for you? No. So Krishna also spoke discouraging language. No? But Krishna's words have so many meanings. So most of the things spoken by Krishna or the Gopis have direct and indirect meaning. So if you'll move the Sanskrit here, when Krishna said to the Gopis, another meaning comes. Welcome, welcome, Gopis. Why have you come here? I think you have not come here just to see the forest. You should stay here because your husbands are all ugly and deformed and stupid. So don't go back to your useless husbands because I am not a brahmachari. I am a very handsome young man. Don't worry, Vrindavan has only non-dangerous animals like rabbits and deers. So do not return home, stay here with me. So both meanings come in. So anyway, so Krishna also testing them. Ladies, return home, return home. Do not stay here. As we go through this again. No? Certainly, expert persons who know their own real self-interest always render unmotivated and uninterrupted service to me. For I am the soul of the soul, most dear to all souls. No? But your husbands cannot complete the yajna without your assistance. No? Therefore, I am requesting you return home. Do not stay here, return home. Return home, return home. So when Krishna told the Braja Gopis to return home, then because all type of gopis came. So they spoke that time Pranayagi, the answer to Krishna's all objections why the Gopis should not stay with him. And I think Krishna spoke 11 verses, Gopis answered with 12, one extra. Like Guru Maharaj would paraphrase it, the Gopis would say, "Oh, Krishna, you are giving such nice religious instructions, that means you are like our spiritual master. And all scriptures say before serving even Bhagavan, one should serve Guru. So we will not return, we will stay here." And other Jiva Goswami gives so many, the slag vakya, indirect meaning. One meaning comes with another meaning. Gopi said, "We have not come here to meet you, we have come here to see the forest and all these things. What are you doing here? You return home first." So, you should return back to your husbands, return to the sacrificial arena. Because your husbands, the learned Brahmanas and householders, they need your assistance to finish the yajna. And scripture says like that. Without wife, yajna cannot be successful. So Krishna's words not without meaning. Like when Ramchandra appeared in Treta Yuga, and Sita had already been banished to the forest, and he wanted to do yajna. So he said to his guru, "Oh, Vishishtaji, I want to do some yajna. You cannot do without your wife. What should I do? You bring Sita back from the forest? Gurudev, I cannot do that. Then marry again? I cannot do. No. So, what can I do? Gurudev, you think of something." So they made a golden Sita. And they did pran pratishtha into that deity. So a golden form of Sita was seated at the left side, the right side of, what is it? Which is the one without the watch? Left side. And the yajna was completed like that. So Ram stayed in Ayodhya for 16,000, he was king for 16,000 years. So after 16,000 years, then the 16,000 golden Sitas said to Ram, "Please accept us as your wife." Ram said, "I cannot, I only have one wife, that is Sita." So Ram blessed them, those 16,000 golden Sitas could take birth as Braja Gopis. So even Ram cannot perfectly fulfill the desire of everyone. That is only Krishna has that power, that special power. So, what Krishna spoke, this is not incorrect. Krishna's words always have, even in joking, Krishna's words always have some truth must always be there. No? Because Satyavratam Param, Satyavratam Satyaparam, Satya. In the prayers of the Garbha Stuti, when all the demigods praying to the womb of Devaki, Satyavatam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yona Nihitam Cha Satyam. You are the absolute truth in all phases of time, past, present, future. Everything you say, that is the truth. Everything which comes from you is also truthful. Therefore we give pranams to you. So when Krishna said to the wives of the Brahmanas, return home, then those wives became depressed, saddened. No, because if Bhagavan rejects you, where you go? Right? If New Zealand bans me, I can still go back to Australia. Right? If Australia put out an Interpol warning for me, I can go somewhere like Nicaragua. But Bhagavan rejects you, where you go? Nowhere left to go. So, O Almighty One, they spoke. Because they have mood of awe and reverence. Gopis will never pray like this. Almighty One, do not speak such cruel words. Rather you should fulfill your promise that you made, that you always reciprocate with the devotees. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna promised, I promise to reciprocate according to your surrender to me. You should fulfill your promise that you always reciprocate with your devotees in kind. Actually, Krishna had not spoken Bhagavad Gita yet. Anyhow. Now we have attained your lotus feet. We have no desire to return back to our families. So if you do not accept us, okay. Then the tulsi which you have kicked from your feet, we'll put that upon our head and live in the forest like Vandevatas. And do some seva from a distance like dasis. For you we are ready to give up all material relationships. So, our husbands, fathers, sons, brothers and relatives will never accept us back. Therefore, we have no one else to take shelter of except for you. We have thrown ourselves at your lotus feet. We have no other destination. O chastiser of enemies, Prahlad, please accept our desire. Sit. So, from their youth, these ladies had heard about Krishna. Their minds were fixed on Krishna. They had heard about Krishna from the ladies who sold betel nut, flower sellers, and other ladies who had travelled to and from the village. The Brahmanas' wives were willing to give up everything for Krishna, but Krishna not accepted them. Why? What is the difference? Why Krishna accepted the Braja Gopis? Krishna said, don't come. But the Gopis stayed and Krishna accepted them. But the wives of the Brahmanas returned. What could be the meaning, Prahlad?
I don't know.
Have a guess. Because really, it could be these wives had some secret, subtle attachment to their husbands. That could be. But many reasons why Krishna not accepted them. Guru Maharaj said, main reason, because they are not gopis and Krishna only do Braj pastimes with gops and gopis. That is the special thing in the sannyas mantra. We can talk about it. Gurudev would often speak, sannyas mantra means gopi bhav. So some people, don't want to mention names, but it's unavoidable in this discussion, like Bhagavad Maharaj, God bless him. He's saying he's like one type of, like, how can I say, very strongly believed, because Gurudev said, sannyas mantra is gopi bhav mantra. That means whoever takes sannyas have to be manjari. And he's writing all these things. So he wrote Facebook wall. So I said, this is not a fact that everyone who took sannyas in the line of Mahaprabhu has to be manjari bhav. And I gave example of, what about Paramananda Puri? He's in Vatsali Ras. No. He was always with Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi. Mahaprabhu had 9 sannyasis who followed him like a shadow. 12 actually. Whenever Mahaprabhu would go anywhere, they would always go with him for prasad. Like when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya tried to invite Mahaprabhu, come to my house for like 4 months of prasad. Then Mahaprabhu said, no, sannyasi cannot take more than like 3 days in a month from one house. So that means wherever Mahaprabhu went, these 12 sannyasis went. One was Paramananda Puri, who is in Vatsali Ras. The other 9 are considered the incarnations of the Navayogendras. The Navayogendras are what? This is Santaras. But still they are sannyasis and the same mantra, everything they receive. So it's not a fact that everyone who takes sannyas mantra has to be a manjari. Gurudev always said manjari bhav, gopi bhav, never said manjari or gopi. So, Madhusudana Maharaj was explaining to us, now, what is the meaning of gopi bhav? Everyone Vrindavan is gop or gopi. So to take shelter of that mood of the gops or the gopis, one chants this sannyas mantra. So, what was the point? Is that a point?
Bhagavad Maharaj.
Oh, so no, I don't know why that came up. Anyway, probably just for Madhu Pandit's enjoyment. You can write him a message. So, what was I talking about? Right, so Krishna only do Braj Leela with gops and gopis, no one else. In Vrindavan, everyone, all 4 rasas, everyone is gop or gopi. Go means cow, gop and gopi. So these Dvija Patnis, the wives of the Brahmanas, were not gops or gopis. They have no entrance to this Braj Leela. You see in this Venugit, the gopis are complaining. This flute, completely unqualified for Krishna's direct association. He is full of holes. Only of all species of life, the tree species is considered the worst, right? If you do a lot of sinful activities, you take birth as a tree. Like Nalkuvera, Manigriva and Nalkuvera. So many sinful activities, what curse Narad gave? Became a tree. So Gopi is too much criticizing this flute. He is very low birth. Tree birth, this is the worst birth, lowest birth, most sinful person. Not only that, he's very hard, he has no rus, no juice in him at all. Worse than that, he is male species. He is male. He has no right for the nectar of Krishna's lips. That right only belong to us. So Gopi is too much criticizing the flute. And another Gopi may say, anyhow, where are you and where is the flute? All Gopis have to drink the remnants of this flute, so this flute have too much glories. No? So there, Srimad Bhagavatam also given one like Pramana. Unless one is the same caste as Krishna, same family, same Gopi Bhav, Braja Bhav, you have no right for these type of pastimes. So these are Brahmanas. They have no right for that. And Krishna always worshipped the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are the like worshipful deities of Krishna. Go Brahmanya, Krishna always respects and works for the benefit of the Gopis. And Gopis, they are like Krishna's guru. Right? Whenever Krishna would meet any Brahman, what does Krishna do? You see in Bhagavatam again and again, whenever Narad Muni would come to visit Krishna, what Krishna does? He gets off the throne, does pranam to Narad, sits him on the throne, washes his feet, does arati to him, like to Sudama Vipra. When Sudama Vipra came to meet Krishna, and how much respect Krishna gave him. Pranams, set him on his throne, washing his feet. He ordered Rukmini and Satyabhama, wash his feet, fan him. And all the residents of Dwarka, what is this? Kim Avadutena Bhikshana. This Avadut, this beggar. Bhikshana means beggar. What sukriti he have that the goddess of fortune are fanning him. And the Supreme Lord is washing his feet. So all the residents of Dwarka were astonished. So Sudama Vipra was also astonished. Krishna giving him so much respect. Then Sudama thinking, does Krishna even really remember me? Or maybe Krishna does this to all Brahmanas who come to Dwarka. That is Krishna's nature. Why everyone loved Krishna so much? Because only Krishna gives this type of respect to the devotees. So Sudama had doubt, really Krishna remember me? Or maybe he does this to all Brahmanas, all guests. So that time to dispel the doubt which Sudama kept in his heart, Krishna spoke. Remember, brother? We went to Gurukul, all these things. One day we went, Sandipani Rishi, his wife had no firewood, she asked us to collect wood. Remember this pastime? This was to dispel the doubt that was in the heart of Sudama. So Krishna, how much respect the Brahmanas? You know? So how can Krishna enjoy the wives, the property of the Brahmanas? You know? This is one like big sinful activity. You know? Also these ladies had been enjoyed by their husbands, many reasons why. You know? But anyhow, the main reason is the Gopis had no return ticket. Sometimes we tell this story in Mexico, people become angry. But anyway, we still tell. There was one, have you heard of Cortez, Madhu?
I think so.
Cortez, he was a Spaniard.
Cortez the killer.
That's him. You've heard his glories. He came to Mexico from Spain with 3 little boats. How is it possible 150 guys, 200 guys, no more, could capture the whole of Mexico? Because when they all came to the beach, Cortez ordered them, unload all the weapons, all the horses. Then he went back and secretly burned the boats. It means one-way ticket. Because those guys had no way to go except forward, they were so successful. So the Dvijapatnis had some return ticket, some attraction, some attachment. Therefore they could not enter Krishna's Leela. No? It's describing when Krishna blew his flute for Ras Leela, everyone ran. One gopi was trapped by her husbands, by her Gurujan. No, you cannot go. They locked the door and everyone else went. So that gopi had some kosai, some obstacle. Maybe some material thing in their surup. Because this is Bautik Leela, no? What you call Prakat Leela here. So it could be maybe some material attachment, some fault, some incompleteness in her devotion, like an unripe mango. How do you make an unripe mango ripe? You put it in a warm place, no? And that heat makes it ripe. So by fire of separation, that lady who was trapped behind, she burnt off any obstacle that remained. Some people think it means she died. But But in his commentary, Vishwanath Thakur said, no, Ras Leela is most auspicious Leela. How could it cause someone's death, an inauspicious result? So it means this separation by being kept away from Krishna, that burnt away whatever obstacle was there. No? Then in the subtle body, like spiritual form, she went for Krishna's service. So these wives of the Brahmanas, for many reasons, Krishna not accept, no? But not means he reject, but it would not be appropriate for his lila. No? It would not be appropriate. So, it said in next life, these Dvijapatnis could take birth as Braja Gopis and entered Krishna's service. No? So, Krishna spoke like that. No? He little discouraged the ladies in a nice way. No? Gave many, many reasons. The lady said, how can we return? Our husbands will never accept. Krishna said, no. When you go back, your wives, your husbands, your relatives will give you so much respect, so much veneration. You should not fear at all. So, Krishna said, rest assured, your husbands will not be inimical towards you. Nor will your fathers, brothers, sons, or other relatives, or the general population. If necessary, I will personally instruct them on the matter. Even the demigods will support you. Don't worry. So the ladies became a little bit pacified. For you to remain in my bodily association would not be proper. Love for me cannot be achieved simply by being in my association. Rather, love for me can be achieved by fixing your minds and meditating upon me. When Krishna gave this advice to the Gopis, they became so much angry at him. Remember, at Kurukshetra? Shravana dasana dhyana tat tat karma anu tat tat bhavanu kitanat mayatata sanikarshena praditetaru tato griham. Famous verse. Love for me is not achieved just by association. Love for me is achieved by Shravanat, Darshanat, Dhyanat, Tat Tat Bhav, Anukitanat. 4 things Krishna says. Shravan, Darshan, like seeing the deity form in the temple. Dhyanat, meditation. Tat Tat Bhav, Anukitanat. And chanting my name. Love for me can be achieved by this method, not simply by bodily association. So the wives of the Brahmanas accepted Krishna's Siddhanta. But when Krishna spoke the same Siddhanta to the Gopis at Kurukshetra, did the Gopis accept Vanamali? No. The Gopis became angry. No? Who are you to give us instructions on remembering you? Krishna, that is the problem. We cannot forget you. That is the difference. Like Purnamasi said, how astonishing. She saw Radharani in meditation trying to remember her husband. But she could not. Then Purnamasi was astonished. How amazing. Everyone is trying to, the yogis are trying to forget this world and fix their mind on the toenails of Krishna. But Radharani is trying to forget Krishna's toenails and trying to think of her worldly responsibilities. There's a difference between the Siddha and the Sadhak. Sadhak is trying to remember Krishna, but Siddha cannot forget him. So, when Krishna gave all these instructions to the Gopis, they became angry. No? When Uddhav gave his same instructions to the Gopis on meditation, Gopis became angry. Nahoy man dasabis ek ho gaya sham ko naradi is. They said to Uddhav, Uddhav, we do not have 15 and 20 minds. Meditation, pranayam. We have one mind, and that was stolen by Krishna. We do not have another mind to remember your Ish, your Bhagavan, because Krishna has stolen everything. So, Krishna gave instructions on sadhan bhajan to the ladies, and they swallowed it, they accept everything. And when Krishna gave the same instruction to the Gopis became very angry. As Madhusudana Maharaj gives an example, imagine you're starving to death, and you come, and that person says, imagine a veggie burger with chips, Madhu. Would you be happy? No happy. If someone has no great hunger, then they'll be happy to meditate on veggie burger and chips. Happy, because no great hunger. But someone who's starving to death and you tell them meditate, they'll become angry at you. I'll give you meditation, buddy. So gopis have so much anurag. They're not happy just by meditation. Like if you meditate on a lotus, you cannot smell the fragrance, you cannot feel the softness of a lotus by meditation. So Gopi said, Uddhav, you do your meditation, Krishna, you keep your meditation for yourself. As for meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna, we are not happy, but rather that same lotus feet we want to keep here upon our chests. It means we want direct service. We are not happy by meditation. Anyway, so thus instructed, the wives of the Brahmanas returned to their village. Their husbands did not find any fault in them. Rather, with their husbands they finished the sacrifice after Krishna ate and everything. So when the Brahmanas saw the effulgence of their wives, right, they just met directly with Krishna. So, when the Brahmanas noticed their wives' effulgence, the obvious detachment from everything else, then the Brahmanas began thinking amongst themselves. So it says here, one of the ladies, the Brahmanas' ladies, had been kept back forcibly by her husband. When she heard the others describe the Supreme Lord Krishna, she embraced him within her heart and gave up her material body. So the only one that could not go, she achieved Krishna by separation. So the Brahmanas began discussing amongst themselves. Let's find this verse. No? Govinda, the Supreme Lord, along with all type of coward boys, enjoyed those foods of 4 varieties. Then, after feeding everyone else, Krishna himself took those preparations. The Supreme Lord appearing like a human being, right? Ivam lila naravapu, nirlokum anushilanam. Krishna, nirlokum anushilanam. Krishna following the activities of human society like an ordinary person. Ivam lila naravapu. The Supreme Lord doing naravapu in a human-like form, performing activities like human being. Anushilana means following. Like when Lord Brahma saw. He saw Krishna eating with the coward boys. Maharaj says, no, in winter time, Brijabasi not taking bath every day because it's so cold. So dirty, eating, throwing pakoras to Krishna's mouth across the forest. Hey! That's useless, isn't it? So, still duty. So when Brahmaji saw Krishna's activities, he became bewildered. Who is Krishna? Is he God or is he a village guy? Because Krishna is not speaking Sanskrit, he's speaking village language, Brijabasi. So it says, Sukadeva Goswami says, Ground body Swachasitam, Sukadeva Goswami. Krishna's all activities like a villager. Like, what do you call these guys who live on the farms? Hicks. When a hick comes to the town, everyone knows he's still a hick. His language, his character, his all actions. So Krishna like a villager, no class, little bit. So Brahma became bewildered seeing all these things. Who is Krishna? He could not understand. So Evam Lila Naravapu Niloka Arushilanam. Krishna in a human-like form. Niloka Manushilanam. He following all human-like activities. Vedeva Gopa Gopinam Ramayam Rupa Vakkita. But Krishna, by his roop, his beauty, by his speech and all qualities, gave so much happiness to the Brijabasis. So, the Brahmanas, when they saw the effulgence of their wives, right, they just met the Supreme Lord face to face and had lunch with him. Those Brahmanas felt great lamentation, great regret. We have sinned. We have denied the Supreme Lord foodstuffs. When we do yajna, we believe Vishnu eats through the flames of yajna. Yajna Purush eats through yajna. So the goal of yajna, who is enjoying the results of yajna? Masharani? Krishna. And yajna Purush is like an indirect form of Krishna, like a form of Vishnu. So we have denied the request of the two lords of the universe, who deceptively appeared before us as human beings. Wow, this is very boring like this. Ultimately, and when they saw their own lack of devotion, and they saw the effulgence and beauty of their wives, the bliss of their wives, the Brahmanas felt much regret and began to lament and condemn themselves. Dig janmanyastri vidyate, dig bratam, dig bahugatam, dig kulam, dig bahugyatvam, vimuktate adoksaja. Are three births useless? What are three births, Madhu? Have a guess. One is by mother, second is by Upanayam, and third is Divigyan, transcendental realization. Third birth. Many take Brahmin thread but no transcendental realization. Therefore Shastra says three births. So they said our three births, dig janma yistri vidyate, our three births, useless. Dig bratam, all our vows and austerities, useless. Dig bahukriyam, our expertise in the Vedic yagyas, useless. Our gyatam, our knowledge, our high birth, our all austerities, everything is useless. Why, Tamal? Because vimukta gete adoxide, we have no attachment to Krishna. So everything we did is a waste of time. To hell with our threefold birth, our vow of celibacy and our extensive learning. To hell with our aristocratic background and our expertise in the rituals of sacrifice, Prahlad. These are all condemned because we are inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Excuse me. Okay, Prahlad, we know that. Thank you. Nunam Bhagavatam Mara Yoginam Api Mohini. We were bewildered by the Supreme Lord's Maya. Why, Prahlad? Or whatever that is, tomorrow. The Maya of Bhagavan bewilders everyone.
Is this all
No, it's not.
The Maya of Bhagavan bewilders even great mystics, what to speak of grihastas like us. We are the Brahmanas, meant to be the gurus of society. Yet we have been bewildered as to our own real interest. Oh, Pashitanari Nam, Api Krishna Jagat Guru. Just see the devotion of our wives. They have attained Jagat Guru Sri Krishna, the Guru of the three worlds. Their love for him has broken the very strong chains of family attachment. Our wives never went to Gurukul. These are many. Now I've entered a minefield, haven't I? Nasam Dvijita Samskaro. Our wives never took sacred thread. Nasanam Dvija Samskaro. Na Nivaso Guru Api. Our wives never resided in the ashram of the spiritual master. Na Tapo Natma Mimamsa. Our wives never performed any austerities. Na Atma Mimamsa. They never discussed philosophy, the difference between the soul and the body. Na Socham. Na Kriya Shubha. Wives are not pure. Na Kriya Shubha. They never perform auspicious actions. But Tatapi Hivu Tumashloka. But they attained Krishna. They're Krishna Yogeswareswari. Who is Krishna? The Lord of the yoga system. Bhakti Drida Chasmakam. They achieved unflinching bhakti for Krishna. Samskaradinatmanapi. But they never performed these all activities. But we have done all these things and not achieved love. Therefore our life have no meaning. In this way those Brahmanas so much lamented and criticized themselves. They wanted to go to meet Krishna Balaram because they were just finishing dinner, lunch. They thought we can still go, but then they thought next minute, no, Kamsa's nearby. If some spy calls Kamsa on the mobile, all these Brahmanas also went to see Krishna, then maybe Kamsa will kill us. So they wanted to go to Krishna and offer pranam, but they felt fear of Kamsa, so they could not do it. Anyway, this very sweet pastime. Therefore, what is the main activities of the Dvija Patnis? Why they achieve success?
hearing from the Gopis.
So much hearing from Brijabasis, no? Therefore, that is the only thing. Shravan Kirtan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, he met it said the followers of the Tattvavadis. The followers of the Tattvavadis. And many people think these are the followers of Madhvacharya. No? When they saw Mahaprabhu, they thought him to be a Mayavadi, so they neglected him at first. But afterwards they could understand, no, he is Vaishnava. So they asked him, what is the goal of life? Mahaprabhu asked, like humble, what is the goal of life and how to achieve it? Then those, they're called the Tattvavadis. They replied, follow Varnashram, then get mukti, this is the goal of life. Then Mahaprabhu said, this is foolish. Shastra never says this. It says one should perform Shravan Kirtan and attain Krishna Prem. And this way Mahaprabhu defeated them. So many people, especially the Babajis, say, see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected the followers of Madhvacharya. So they say we are a separate sampradaya from them. But Kaviraj not said these were followers of Madhvacharya. These are so-called followers of Madhvacharya who are deviated. So therefore we should not become too much depressed at our low qualification, our low birth or lack of knowledge. We should always give so much attention to Shravanam, Kirtan. Especially we can hear the Kirtan of Uttam Bhagavad, high class Vaishnava. And we should have some greed for that. Then we can also achieve the same perfection that the Dvija Bhaktis achieved just by hearing Katha. Like Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he was with his Gurudev. They were doing that time Brajmanu Parikram. I think Saraswati Thakur only did it once in his life, Brajmanu Parikram. But Abhay Charanaravind, at that time he was not initiated, he was also with his Gurudev. They were doing walking Parikram, that time was no buses. They came to Shashai. That's the place where one time the Gopis were joking, we heard that you are Vishnu. Then Krishna said, yes, look at this. So he manifested his form as Mahavishnu, and Radharani took one form as Lakshmi, massaging his feet. So at that place is also thousands, we were talking about it the other night, right? Thousands of footprints of Krishna there on the stone. So everyone went there to see the stone, the footprints. But Abhay Charanaravinda thought, no, let me hear something from Guru. Then Saraswati Thakur said, yes, I have marked him, I will give him initiation. He likes to hear, he does not run away. So that's why we should try to make it one of our main spiritual practices. If I get the chance to hear from such a Rasik Vaishnava, we should have some greed for that. Rupa Goswami said, what is that? No. Prabhupada said, this Krishna conscious movement, this is the definition of our Krishna conscious movement, he said like that. No, Rupa goes, what is that verse? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavatamati Kriyatam Yadikuto Pilabriti Tata Lola Mulam Ekamalam Koti Janma Sakriti Na Labite. Where can I find what I'm looking for? Where can I find that? No? That Bhakti Ras, that is in the heart of the Rasik Vaishnavas. No? So we should have some greed. We should have some greed. How can I attain that? We should have greed for association of such a sadhu. And whatever I have to give to get that association, I am willing to pay that. When I first came to Gurudev, one of the first things he said to me, not the first things, but I met Gurudev, then we went for Navadvip Parikrama in 96. Gorgamaj had left, therefore many devotees had come from Bhubaneswar to see Gurudev. Then Gurudev was talking with them, this and that, then they went back. Then Gurudev said, you are so fortunate to have come to me to avoid all these things, he said. Then he said, can you give your head for association of sadhu? Can you give your head? He said, do not be neutral. Neutrality has no place in devotion. So Premananda, where we get the chance for that association, we should also... Okay, where we get the chance for that type of sangha, we should have some greed for that. Don't have any doubt. Are there any questions? Hari Priya?
Maharaj,
Yes,
the footprints are set in the Braj Mountains? Yeah.
When are you coming? Are you coming this year?
Not this year, next year.
Why not?
But I've been to that place.
What are you doing very important in October?
It's the first time I'm able to work again in 2 years.
Don't give me an excuse. Actually, I'll just finish one story. Vanamali told me. One mutual friend we had, his name was Mahavaikunthanath. Did you ever meet him? I knew him, and he said when he came to meet Gurudev in Sydney, and Vanamali pushed, Gurudev, this is Mahavaikunthanath. Do you know him, Yasoda? Do you remember him? Old fellow. The Gurudev said, whole life I'm waiting to meet Mahavaikunthanath. What are you doing? Gurudev, I have like organic farms, some cows, this and that. But Gurudev chastised him strong. This is all waste of time. Will cows save you at the time of death? Right? Will the organic vegetables save you at the time of death? So you give up all of this and just follow me. Of course, we all have our own plans, right? We've got millions of plans. But death also has his plan. Right? So he not did that. No? And then 1 month later he died from a heart attack. I was amazed when I heard that. When he was telling the story, I was shocked. Gurudev never speak like that to anyone. Give up everything and follow me. He never speak like that. So when he was telling the story, I was thinking, why would Gurudev speak like that? He never does like that. And then we heard because 1 month later he died. Gurudev could see all that. So they say in Hindi, don't believe in breath. Swas is breath and biswas means faith. Don't believe in breath too much. So try to believe. We get a chance for this association of Rasik devotee. We should have some greed. Bhakti come from that. Bhakti not come from anything else. Okay, come in, Anyatma. If your father recovers, then try and come to Vrindavan. Today's tomorrow's last 2 classes we have.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
We've been invited to the ISKCON temple.
In the ISKCON temple tomorrow night.
Yay!
Wow.
I'll try not to blow it. Cannot give any guarantees.
It's 11 o'clock program is still on in Westfield.
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Tomorrow is Ekadasi. Don't miss Ekadasi, of course.
And if anyone's bringing perhaps could they bring them offered if possible?
I'll do it.
Madonna, can you play Madonna?
I can chant to
Any question, Madhu, about anything else?
No, it was good.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.